Welcome to Bill and Rob's An Excellent Adventure. I'm Bill Tilley.
And I am Rob Schulte. And of course, you know, Graham's here. Graham's back, baby. Back and better than ever.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good, good, good. But that's not all, folks, because this is a public episode because we brought on a guest, and that is guest editor extraordinaire Rob Adler. Hello, Rob.
Hey, how's it going?
See, he brings it. He brings it every, not just in the edits, he brings it in the hello, how's it going? And we love that.
You know, I try.
We love that. We also love that you make us sound as good as possible. Not as good as possible. Better than normal. How about that?
You guys make it easy. You make it easy.
In my case, better than deserved, I'm sure.
No, not.
Or as the upcoming newsletter says, Bill Tilley, the hardest working man in podcasting. So...
Oh, if only that were true. But I do demand that Rob throw a cape on me after every episode, so which is difficult from long distance, but he pulls it off.
Something I want to bring up before we get into, you know, this is a celebration. It's, you know, we're on, you know, are we on year 3, season 2, just season whatever. Bill and Rob's has been doing the damn thing for a while now. There's been a couple episodes that you guys haven't been a part of, but Rob, I'm sure you've heard of us talk about this, but I'd like Rob Adler and Graham's opinion on Bill and I's idea for Cool Whip the movie. Like, I feel like that we feel that's an untapped brand that needs a film.
That, you know, that could work. You know, well, here's the thing. Sam Raimi, like one of his like first horror shorts was about the hamburger helper glove.
The glove. Yeah.
So, you know, you guys could come up with a cool horror film surrounding a Miracle Whip.
Well, Cool Whip, my friend.
Oh, Cool
Much
Whip,
more
sorry.
delicious. Much,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And it all stemmed
Cool
from Bill having a director's chair in the 80s that said Cool Whip on the back.
There's nothing better than structuring your future financial endeavors around an old chair and what it used to say on it. There's worse reasons to make a movie, for sure.
Rob Adler, you work in video as well. Do you think we could make a sizzle for potential sellability on this?
I may have already started on it.
Oh, great. Granted, we have no story, but I think this is one of the ones where you just like come in and you just lay down a tub of Cool Whip and you go, Cool Whip the movie, and the executives go, sold. We'll see. Listeners, let us know. You know, this is outside of the paywall. We said we weren't going to break this news outside the paywall, but it's a celebration and we need funding. So... join the Patreon. We'll make that sizzle reel for Cool Whip the film, Cool Whip the movie. It might be like Hamburger the film and Hot Dog the movie or whatever those are.
That's what I was thinking. I kind of want to put it in the contract that Cheap Trick has to do the theme song for the movie.
Yes.
It's only right.
Speaking of Cheap Tricks, Bill, what movie are we watching today?
You sound like you've been staring at the bright visitor there a little bit, Rob.
No kidding.
But today's movie is just an awesome thing for me. This is one of my favorites. I'm just going to say it right now, but the conversation is going to be interesting. It is 1984's Night of the Comet, starring Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney and a certain Mr. Robert Beltran.
Yes, Star Trek fame.
Yes.
And Eating Raoul
you might know
fame. If you...
Yeah.
Mary Warnov is in this. We'll get to that later, but there's kind of a reconnection or a reunion there.
Yes, you might know him as Rex Smith's soon-to-be-dead partner from the pilot episode of Street Hawk. Where are my Street Hawk fans at? Hit us up on the Patreon.
I need to. It sounds like I need to educate myself, Bill. That's what I'm putting there. But Rob Adler, you had said like. You know, we've been saying, like, Rob, come on the pod, you know, do something. And you're like, well, I see that you've got Night of the Comet on the list. I would love to sit in for that. Now, so do you have personal history with Night of the Comet?
Yeah, and I requested it even before realizing Robert Beltran was in it.
Wow.
I saw this movie years ago on TV as a kid and was so taken by just the look of it. Which we'll talk about later, but it has stuck with me ever since, and was delighted to see that Robert Beltran's in it. But but yeah, it's had a lasting impression on me. And this is only the second time I've seen it. Last time was, I don't know, 20 years ago, a long time ago.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of
Holds
fun.
up.
It does. Graham, how about you? What's your relationship with Night of the Comet?
I think I watched it somewhat recently because Joe Bob Briggs hosted it on the Last Drive-In. But yeah, as a kid, sort of watching it, sort of falling in love with it at a young age.
Yeah. You know what I gotta say, and I feel so silly, but I kept thinking this was that apocalyptic film that was set in Kansas or filmed in Kansas.
Oh yeah. You're thinking of it's something like
The Day After or something.
The Day After, yeah.
The 1983 TV movie.
Yeah.
with Steve Guttenberg.
Yes.
Not to get off
and Jason Robards.
Not to get off on a tangent, but there is a movie from 1984 called Threads. Bill, have
By
you seen
Instagram? No.
No.
Okay, it's basically
I don't know this
it's
one.
The Day After, but the British version, and it is it's like one of the most intense movies I've ever seen that sort of goes through what life would be like after a nuclear attack, day one, week one, month one. It's
Damn. It's
super
like the Come and See version of The Day After.
Come and See is a total that's a great comparison as far as the intensity of the film.
Holy shit. Well, that's great. I had never seen this movie.
Okay, tangent done.
Okay. No, don't worry. I'd never seen this movie. I'm glad I saw this movie. Pretty much like every single thing Bill Tilley serves up to me on a silver platter, I am thrilled. And Bill knows right where to turn my gears. Keep your head out of the gutter, everyone. To get me into focus mode on movies. And Bill, I bet you know why that is, and we'll probably get into it later. But Bill, do you have the VHS cassette of this film?
I have the VHS cassette. I have the DVD, the Blu-ray, the special edition package. I've had them all. I even have the soundtrack.
Man, they need a Vinegar Syndrome Night of the Comet, I think.
That's true. And we need some updated interviews with some of the other cast. That would have been great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bill, do you want to read the back of the VHS box or your laser disc or whatever?
Oh, yeah. I very much want to read this. So, Night of the Comet is an offbeat, off-the-wall vision of the end of humanity, served up with the accent on laughs. When a comet passes too close to Earth, Regina and Samantha, two Valley girls, discover they have suddenly virtually all of Los Angeles to themselves and set out on a madcap lark kicked off by a wild shopping spree in a Los Angeles mall. But they soon learn they're sharing the city with a number of bizarre creatures who have reacted in various strange ways to the comet's effects. The girls would rather be making out and playing video games, but first they've got to deal with the wackiest crew of crazies ever to walk a city street. A satiric blend of camp humor and skillful special effects, this merry mix of scares and silliness is one night you won't soon forget.
Wow. Hey, pretty good back of the box, quite frankly.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. A little understated, I think, for what you're going to get out of those girls, but not too shabby for a 1984 cardboard summary.
Well, Bill, should we dive into our segments?
Absolutely. I think we should stare right up into the sky, look for some fun and interesting things we all found out about this, and I'm going to call this segment in honor of the certain Mr. Robert Beltran we will come to talk about. Think over this!
All right, who's going first, Bill? You're running this ship, this comet.
Let's see. I think let's go with Mr. Rob Adler. Let's get one of his up first.
What an honor. We'll go with my fun fact about Robert Beltran, who turned down this role 3 times. 3 times. They kept coming back to him, offer him a little bit more money. They finally offered him top billing, and he kept saying no because they originally wanted the role to basically be like a stereotype. And I haven't seen eating Raul, but I believe that's kind of what his character is in that. And he didn't want to do a stereotype, but also didn't want to like repeat kind of a character he already done. So they finally agreed to kind of change it around. And he, in an interview, said like he wanted to model it off of the Gary Cooper reluctant hero type role. And they agreed to it. And they, after they agreed to it, like, we were just going to go with a regular guy if you didn't do it, which is like,
cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You asked me
Which is
3
exactly-
times, but you were just going to go with a regular guy.
Exactly.
Hey, Phil, you want to read for this part?
Yeah.
You done sweeping over there?
It's like asking him 3 times. It's like he's trying to like convert to a religion,
Right.
To like join this.
Well, it had to have been the Mary Warnoff connection that got him there, right?
You would think.
I mean, I'm just assuming. I don't know for sure.
They actually courted him, is my understanding, and he turned them on to Mary Warnoff. So it was actually the other way around, because they were like,
Okay.
"You should get her for this part," and they were like, "Can we do that?"
Oh,
This
okay.
is Hollywood,
probably.
baby. You
She's
can do whatever.
She's an actress. She takes parts. I'm sure she would be open to the
I'm
idea.
sure
Awesome.
you want more work on your resume. So
And you know what's funny? Because you mentioned that, Adler, with Beltran getting top billing, that was the one thing that I'd forgotten since my last viewing of this movie. I never think of him as the top billing in the credits. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but this is 100% Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney's movie.
Yeah.
And he is amazing in it. And it's okay that he's there, but honestly, if you really wanted to be true to the movie, they would be 1 and 2 on the call sheet.
100%. I mean, like, he doesn't enter the movie for like a half an hour into its story, and then is gone for another 20 minutes.
Yeah, he as soon as he
Right.
like is there, he like disappears.
Yeah.
He goes
So it's
back
like,
home.
He's got some great scenes, but he's definitely not main character energy for this thing.
A
He's
great
gotta go to San
supporting
Diego.
character.
Yes, he did. And we all have to go to
I'm
San
glad
Diego.
I'm glad that they let him do what he wanted to do, though, because just thinking about it just now with the Everyman thing, something about that kept ringing in my ear. And I'm like, what is it about that? If I look at this a certain way, he really comes off now to me as kind of a scaled down, quote unquote, more grounded, realistic type of character, like a Jack Burton, the reluctant hero that has some looks and he has some wits and some humor, and he doesn't really want to be there kind of guy. And I'm looking at that thinking, man, this is a character I would like to have seen him play a lot more of. Even in this universe would have been great. Another movie with Hector and the girls doing some stuff would have been awesome.
Yeah, this needs a sequel pronto, I think, or 20 years ago. Well, Bill, you mind if I go next?
Absolutely. Take it.
Okay. Yeah, Rob, then Rob. Okay, that's the way
go.
these things move. I'm just going to say that when Sam, the younger sister, is playing at the radio station, she says that she is taking requests from all you teenage mutant comic zombies, which apparently was originally the title of this movie, which I love. Night of the Comet is great, but Teenage Mutant Comet Zombies? Come on.
I think it's great when you find out stuff that was like tossed away, but then finds itself back in there one way or another. I think that's got to be a real thing when you're writing stuff like this, even just off the cuff going, well, we couldn't use it for there, but oh yeah, we could use it over here. So that's really neat.
And I wonder, like, I mean, obviously, I'm assuming Ninja Turtles the comic books were out around this time. This is 84, so probably playing off of all of that sort of goofy silliness anyway. Whatever was zeitgeisty then. Yeah. Anyway, I loved it.
How could you not? And I think you're right, Rob. I think also that kind of sounds like those B-movie Roger Corman 60s monster movie type. So I got to believe that was a little bit of a tip of the hat to all that. And I would be willing to bet that probably somewhere the crew, maybe even Eberhardt, was like, this is 84 at the time. Like, we don't really want to sound like one of those movies because that's not what this is. But it's cool that they threw it back in there.
Yeah. I would put that right next to, like, if I'm talking about titles of movies that are a little silly, That one's going right next to the Charles Band Presents movie from 2011, Killer Eye, Halloween Haunt. So I don't know if anyone has ever seen Killer Eye, Halloween Haunt. But
I have not. But now anything Rob says out loud, I wind up going straight into the Plex.
Yeah.
It's like it's coming around.
I got to find this movie because it does star one Ariana Madix.
And you guys, Graham and Rob Adler, you tell me, like, if this movie had been called like Night of the Zombies instead of Night of the Comet, would you have, if you'd just seen the title as you were cruising by, would one of those appeal to you more than the other one?
I think Night of the Zombie would appeal more, but we'll get to it later. I would have been even more disappointed. I feel like Night of the Comet, little more accurate. But Night of the Zombie would have gotten more butts and more seats, I think. Perhaps.
I think I agree with that. I think Night of the Comet, I'm getting like Cocoon mixed with like space travel mixed with like I don't know what's up.
I'm thinking Creep Show.
Yeah,
with Stephen King turning
yeah.
into a plant.
The Moss Man.
Yeah, exactly.
And see, the comet part's what hooked me because it's a little more sci-fi because I wasn't a horror kid, but you snuck some in on me and I love it.
Yeah. Well, who's up next, Bill?
Well, I think I'll go next and then we can go to Graham. Kind of more along the lines of as we were talking about Beltran in his interview. The original Comet producers hated what director Tom Eberhardt was doing the entire time they were shooting this movie. They hated it.
Sucks.
They didn't like anything of it. They were like, this is awful, but they had no money to reshoot or complain basically. So Eberhardt's like, I won by default. I shot it. Film's gone. This is what you got. And they were like, okay, fine. And I find it immediately entertaining every time I hear something like this, where like the suits are always no. And here's a movie that 40 years later, still on, still being talked about, still loved, still being discovered by people who love it for what it is. And ironically, Fox calls him in years later, and they're basically turned out to be pitching a Night of the Comet reboot type movie. Did not know he was the director of the original movie.
Insane.
So there shows you how well they do their research.
Jeez.
And they're like, yeah, I think we could do this movie. And he goes, so what if the original director would want some input in this movie, just screwing with him? And they were like, he's probably some hack. We can buy him off.
Oh my!
And he told him who he was, and they were like, oh, okay, sure. So good on you, Hollywood. If there's a lesson, maybe, as always, stand back a little bit, or, read the credits of the movie you're trying to rip off. That would be good.
That is so clear cut, like corporate bullshit, right? Like things
Yes,
get
exactly.
circulated through memos and people talk, and then what they're talking about inside the thing gets so convoluted that someone forgets to just like check what's actually been sent. And I'm just going to give you guys a little example from personal experience of that. Like there's something I can't exactly say publicly, which I'll tell you guys when we stop recording, but I will talk in vagaries, but you will get what I'm saying. I'm working on a project, and it's not a podcast, don't worry, where I'm trying to get buy-in from some people who are part of this thing that I want to do this with, but I have to talk to top brass of the company that signs their paychecks, right? Well, I said, I've got this agent that I'm working with. We're trying to do this project. We'd love to take a meeting with you top brass people, because we'd love for you to be in on it rather than us trying to like go around you. And immediately we go into the meeting and they're like, okay, so how did this deal get made? Because we're not aware of anything. And I was like, read the email. Like, nothing's being made. We want you to be a part of it. That's why we're having this meeting. But they were convinced that we had already gotten a deal. We have already circumnavigated them. We're already going around them. And it was like the first 7 minutes of this half-hour meeting was like so tense because they had already made up their mind that like we were like butting their heads. And it's like, no, we want to work with you. Just read the email I sent,
Yeah.
So what you're saying is Cool Whip the movie is not off to a good start.
Not off to a good start, but I promise you, we are going to get this thing made.
Okay.
So, Bill, you're absolutely right. Like not even just the Hollywood machine, but just like people get so in their heads and like decide what's already fact, and it's rough.
Yeah. And you think if they had gotten their way, if it could have happened twice in a row, we wouldn't have the movie that we like.
Yeah.
We would have had something else that would have been crap.
Yeah. Graham, did you discover any facts about this film that we haven't already stated?
I don't know if I discovered a fact. I have a question more than anything that was just driving me nuts. And when I was trying to do research for the film, I couldn't find anything about it. We've discussed Mary Warnoff and Robert Beltran being in Eating Raoul. Was Paul Bartel the radio disc jockey before Kelly
Like
Maroney took it over?
The tape recorded voice?
Yes.
I don't know.
I believe
went
so.
down a deep rabbit hole. The disc jockey was an actual radio DJ from LA, and I ended up on his LinkedIn page. He's still active. Works for the Associated Press now. This is like the only movie he did. But he was just he ended up, I think at the time it may have been running one like KFI in LA.
Okay.
If that rings any bells for anyone?
That rules. That's
Okay.
awesome.
So the answer to my question, Paul Bartel is not in this movie. I was hoping he was.
I will say this, though. Rob Adler's got another fun fact here I saw in our document that, Graham, I think you're going to dig.
Okay.
What is it, Rob?
So yeah, I wanted to look up the little bit about the special effects, the makeup, and it was done by one David B. Miller, who that year, I think it came out after this, but in '84 he went on to design the look for one Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm
Hell
Street, and he worked in Friday the 13th franchise, I think Terminator 2, like tons of stuff after this. But yeah, pretty significant special effects work.
I bet you
can
anything. He's sitting in his like house right now in a leather bound chair and drinking a Scotch whiskey and saying, "84. That was a damn good year."
He might be. I'm glad you said that, Adler, because I watched the commentaries and stuff on the DVD, and he's on there, and he said and you guys are horror fans, so you appreciate all the prosthetics and work goes. He did this movie in 6 weeks out of his garage, a 1-car garage, just him.
Oh my God.
He said that was it because that was his first deal. And I'm thinking, I don't care what it is. If you can do anything major in 6 weeks out of a 1-car garage, much less do all the prosthetic effects for that's not a small budget to me. That's a big budget movie. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's wild. And I think we can see a little bit of Freddy in each one of these zombies that we meet.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned it, I never really thought of it that way, but especially the stock boy who is the head bad zombie in the department store.
Yeah.
You get a close-up look at him. He does have some Freddy Krueger.
My other little
vibes.
tidbit is he also worked on earlier, I forget what year it came out, but he worked on Michael Jackson's Thriller video, and it's his makeup is that same kind of like sunken eye ghoul look that he used
Love it.
used for Night of the Comet.
And remember, everyone, Michael Jackson never has or will believe in the occult. That's
the thing that plays before the. I totally forgot about that, Rob.
I'll put that before this episode for all of us.
That'd be great.
Please do. That's awesome. Yes. Bill, what are you going to wrap up this segment with?
Well, I'm going to go back to the director. So I really wanted to dig because, like I said, there's a lot of interviews with the cast on this, and you will hear some of the same things a good bit over and over again. But I found an Eberhardt interview, and he said he actually credits his lack of knowing how Hollywood worked that got this movie made, because they say, don't mix genres, kids. No horror and comedy, no action and special effect blockbusters, like whatever it is, no romance. And because he didn't know any of that, this was his first big budget movie. Big budget for him, $700,000, something like that, which is a pretty good deal. And because of that, this is what I want so much to see come back into movies. He just didn't care. He knew what he wanted, and he made this movie he wanted. And he wound up great because the adults saw the humor in it. The kids saw the scary stuff, but they also saw like the kid problems. Like the two girls are teenagers, and they go back and forth between fighting for their lives and then having the moments where it sets in on them that the world is over. Like there's no prom, their boyfriends are dead, their friends are dead. And then the next minute they're off in a huge department store, doing the only thing they know how to do to make themselves happy and running around, and then thinking, oh my God, is there anybody else out there? And the movie swings back and forth on this pendulum that is kind of amazing. And a lot of that goes to Catherine Mary Stewart and Kelly Maroney, the way they came off and played the sisters and played them sincere and funny and even leaned into the ludicrous once in a while with that wink and a nod. It makes this movie a genre buster in a way that I've rarely seen a movie pull off this successfully across the board with all the things it touches on. It's just kind of amazing. And I just love the idea that a director could just make the movie he or she wants to make and just bring that back, please.
That reminds me, because like everything is like a hybrid now, right? Maybe not that new Nazi film. What's that, Graham?
Zone of Interest.
Oh,
yeah, Zone of
Interest, which is amazing.
Yeah,
and it, like when you say Nazi film, it does not promote Nazism.
No.
No.
A film that has Nazis in it.
There you go.
That is also not the project Robs is working on, everybody. That's not what he was pitching.
Cool Whip the movie is just about a sweet treat.
No Nazis.
No, but like every movie is a mix, right? Like it's got to have both. And that you reminded me of this, like I saw people having a discourse, and there's always healthy discourse online, right? It only was slightly twinged with anger, but this New York comedian that will not be named was like, Hollywood doesn't make straight up comedies anymore. People love comedies. And I kind of want to be like, like every comedy that's come out recently that's like a big blockbuster comedy has not seemed to scratch the itch of a movie I want to see. Like, am I really diving in to go see Blockers, 5 years ago or whatever? But like when I think about like rewatchability on comedies, there's very few comedies I'm like, I have to rewatch this all the time. Maybe, like a Tommy Boy or a Wayne's World or something. And that goes from when I grew up, right? Yeah. That's maybe not doesn't speak to the movie itself. But I think, he's right on the money making this film. It's like, I don't play by like whatever that rule is for that executive at that time. I'm going to make the movie that I like. And I know we're going a little long on segment 1, but generally we always go longer on the first segment. So Rob Adler knows that better than anyone. But I do think that's like crazy to think that like how these like Hollywood rules like evolve over time. I don't know.
And you think they're not really rules. It's just somebody saw a thing that was successful and they always just want to do that. Yeah. And if those two things were successful, why can't we do both those things? Yeah. And that's not a rule. That's just throwing stuff up in the air.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I'll say is that like all of the empty street scenes were just filmed early morning in LA, which still seems impossible. Like
I knew it.
I don't even get it. I've never seen any. I've driven early in LA.
When everyone in LA was sleeping it off.
Yeah.
I knew that these city scenes were just going to get Schulte right in that soft spot. Yeah. I knew it.
I love seeing it. You don't see the city like that. You don't see any city. It's like what is that? Open Your Eyes. Vanilla Sky.
Yeah.
Running through Times Square. Like you don't see that. You don't see that shit. Yeah. This is wild.
And with all that red dust effect, which made it, and the music was so creepy, it's amazing.
Red dust. I try and avoid that these days.
You're out in the sand, dude. You don't have much choice.
Well, we do have the choice to move on to our next segment. What are you calling it, Bill?
I'm going to call this things we like and things that work for us, and we're going to make these Uzi worthy. So, Rob, you went first time. So, let's see. How about you, Graham? Why don't you go first on this one?
Well, I was kind of adding on to something you had mentioned earlier as far as production design, cinematography, and the opticals of the film are absolutely incredible for such a low budget picture. And, you know, that's the most impressive thing to me while, you know, watching these films. And, you know, I can't remember what the budget was, but it was not very much for this.
No.
And the fact that it looks so good and they pulled it off. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of times film kind of comes off like a magic trick, and they tricked me. They made me think that this movie was a lot more expensive than it actually was.
$700,000.
It's under $1 million?
Yes. Yes.
That's insane.
Yes.
Because it looks like $1 million. I'm sorry I had to do it.
But yeah, it's wild. We've said it a million times. Like, get the right group of people together with like even $300,000, and you could make a really entertaining film. If you just have to figure out how to, people just don't get those opportunities, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, maybe even
They
10,000.
knew how
Let's
to-
just say that.
They made it look great. And I think that should be, for any movie, a real imperative. If you can, make it look as great as it can look, because if it's visually a turnoff, it's hard to watch in the first time, and it's hard to want to rewatch it later. So, I mean, you don't always have that option. Sometimes we love some movies that look terrible, and that's just because we love them. But we would love them more if we could see them better, I think.
One thing I would just like to interrupt with real quick, talking about movies that look a certain way. Graham, you weren't able to join us on Point of No Return, and I just wanted to ask you a quick question about that. Yeah, Luc Besson. Arm's length, Luc Besson.
Yes, exactly.
Did you see La Femme Nikita?
The television show.
No. The French movie.
So the French movie, yes.
Nikita.
La Femme Nikita, and then the American version is Point of No Return.
Yeah, I didn't know if you'd
Yeah.
seen both, and like visually between those two, if there was one you sided with more.
You know, this is not gonna. I don't know if I should admit this on the podcast or not, but I've never been that big of a Luc Besson fan, and I sort of watch these movies and then forget about them. And so I can't even tell you what Point of No Return and La Femme Nikita look like. I probably know what the USA television series looks like more than the film series, but
Lots of blue filters.
Yeah, that probably says more about me than you'd like to know.
Hey, you know we all love a good Silk Stockings, Baywatch Nights,
Exactly, there
La
we
Femme
go.
Nikita, Renegade. It's what makes up the when we're not covering. It's like jazz, right? What I will say then, though, about what I think was Uzi worthy, and I'll just say my two right up top, if that's cool with you, Bill.
Sure.
I love the 80s. Bill mentioned this earlier, but I love the 80s when it is like you could just tell when you watch like Stranger Things, and it's like, oh, this is like kind of what I remember when I crack open my yearbook, but also like watch TV shows from the 90s that were kind of like the 80s, you know. No, something that's made in the 80s, takes place in the 80s, is the 80s. You know, it's the same for 70s, 60s, whatever. I just like the 80s because I don't remember a lot from it, but I remember just enough that it like takes me back to a simpler time, even though it wasn't that simple. And then in that dovetails into the other thing. The Comet craze at the beginning is such a like, yeah, we ain't got shit to do, really. You know, like we can go to the movies, we can go to the bar, we go to work, we like watch 3 channels on TV, right? We got cookouts outside of our house. Like and when I say we don't have shit to do, people have tons of things to do. It's just not like at your fingertips, whatever you want via internet, phone, TV, right? And so like a thing like, hey, there's a comet coming around. Like, wow, let's throw a party, right? Like,
Well, yeah,
I love that.
and because this was a thing in the movie that's cited as a worldwide
Yes.
event. You didn't have worldwide events unless you were standing in your front yard holding hands with somebody in a white T-shirt. There wasn't a worldwide event for you to be part of.
Yeah.
So I'm watching this video too, and I'm like, boy, that is just insane. Like the look of this. I don't know where they filmed this street party at, if it was New Year's Eve or what, but it's
wild.
It's freaking great.
And it reminds me of like the only things I can like, besides like 9/11, like the only like worldwide events that like shook me as a kid, like I remember Hail Bop, and that's mainly because there was a cult involved in it, and then the SNL, parody things afterwards, and then Y2K. Like Y2K is the closest thing I can put to this, and you know what? I like the results of Y2K a little bit better. So.
And you know what else it nails, Robs, is Mel, the movie manager's trying to sell those crappy spring ears. It's like, dude, this is peak 80s consumerism. Yeah. Like they are going to be like, we got boxes of these googly eye things we stick on it. They're Comet headsets. That's what they are. Sell them with some streamers and we'll charge extra. Like I watched that and I'm like, oh my God, I've kind of blowed past this every other time, but like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
This is perfect shilling that would actually happen on the street.
They stay on it for a good while too, and
they do.
Well, you see, this one has these things, and that one's cheaper because it's not as nice.
Yeah,
they cut away and cut back, and cut away and cut back, and it's the main opening credits.
Yeah. And then what's the video game she's playing?
Tempest.
Yes. That's right. Anyway, sorry, Graham, I cut you off.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that if Night of the Comet was made today instead of the 80s, if the alert came out that there's a comet about to hit the Earth, most people would run inside and look at the internet footage and video footage instead of just looking outside and watching the comet hit the Earth.
Yeah. Wow. And
really makes you think, man.
There's a lot
really
about our
sucked the air out of the
society right now.
And left our podcast in a pile of red dust right on there.
Who's up next, Bill?
You go, Adler.
So we kind of talked about it a little bit, but this movie is so red. Yeah. I dare you to name or challenge you to name a redder film. I can't think of one.
What's the Val Kilmer Mars movie?
Mission to Mars.
That's more orange.
Hey, fair.
But
the closest runner-up I can think is Cherry 2000.
All right. But yeah, it's again just so visually striking, and just with like a very simple, just using like graduated filters and gels, and just to have this very stunning kind of red haze effect. And again, like as a kid, I remember asking, like, I think it was my dad, I was like, how did they get it to be so red? It was like, oh, they just like throw a piece of glass over it. Like, don't you know what day for night is, kid?
Yeah,
like,
come on, child, learn.
There's nothing more touching than when a father sets his son down and teaches him what the day for night filter
It's a pivotal
is all
moment
about.
in any young
It
man's
is.
life.
Yeah,
It is.
it's like sipping a beer with Pap. And it does, I think that all that red really does help contrast like the underground bunker scientists too, because then you're just like, oh yeah, this is different. This is almost dangerous, quite frankly.
Oh, and then my other like is Chekhov's high score.
Yes.
At the beginning, I forget the character's name. She's very good at Tempest. Has like all the high scores. Regina. And someone takes her sixth best score with initials DMK, and she gets really upset about it. And it like comes back, and like they like set it up enough where you don't think like it's going to be super important. There's a nice little payoff at the end that I enjoyed.
Dude, if you were a video arcade kid, that was serious business. I wasn't one of those, but I know people who were. And if you bumped them off the screen, they were not
She's
happy.
good enough to target a middle score.
Yes,
and beat it.
that's what I was
she
gonna
played
say.
down.
I was like, that is like the true thing. It's like you want the whole screen.
Yeah.
So like you aren't just gonna like, because she knows if she can target that middle score, she doesn't have to play like 7 games.
Yep.
She'll just play the one that bumps that middle score out of there. That's intense business.
Skill.
She's hardcore.
Currently working my way through all of the Metal Gear games in chronological order, and I don't want to play any of those another time. Like, I love them, but it is very difficult. Yeah, that's great. That was awesome.
Well, I'm going to roll with my 2, and I'm actually going to call an audible on one because I kind of touched on one earlier.
Okay.
So one of the things I love, the music in this movie is absolutely amazing. The studio apparently wanted Hits of the Day, one of those type of movies. I guess one of the producers was hot to get Every Breath You Take by the Police, and they wanted all this stuff. But just that movie, what they wanted, they said would have cost $1 million in licensing, so they couldn't do it. So music supervisor Don Perry and his friend Bob Summers did all the scoring for this movie, and they wound up putting together like 19 songs and doing them all in the span of like weeks. And
sounds like someone was doing some red dust.
Yeah. Or whatever it takes, man. You got a deadline to meet. You snort the whole Comet if you have to. You got to go. And the first few times I watched this movie, it didn't hit. But as I've gotten older, especially now, this soundtrack's amazing. If you can listen to and it's on YouTube, go listen to just these tracks. They're all unknown artists for the most part. There's one cover in there. And I think it does so much for this movie because you're never thinking about the hit song playing or, oh, that's cool or whatever. Because sometimes that works and sometimes it's a big letdown. But if you're going to do not a score per se, but rock music throughout a thing, these songs are great and they really lend themselves. So when the score that is there does hit, it is both the creepiest and coolest thing at the same time. It transitions at the beginning of the movie from upbeat and light to really dark, just like the movie does. It's just outstanding. I highly recommend anybody go find these songs. And then my second one is going to be for Geoffrey Lewis. I wanted to say this earlier. He is the head of the think tank, the evil organization. Well, that's not fair. It's not so much that they are evil. They don't start out to be. They're just jerks.
No one plans
but they turn
to be
evil.
the evil genius.
Yeah, they don't. Nobody starts out wanting the underground volcano lair. But if you want to
One must
get
be
your bad
groomed
guy
for power.
Yeah, it's so true. Just talk to Skullface. Anyway, yeah.
Sorry.
if you need your bad guy who's really going to be on screen a minimal amount of time. He's not in the movie a ton, but he's that driving force in the background. You can't do better than him. He is so great in this movie at just being him and he is one of those guys that's intelligent when you see him. He's not stupid. He's smart. He's got that look, and then in his drive sort of turns into some mania along the way, and plus he becomes infected and becomes one of the zombie killers, and watching him transition is just, it's great because you always kind of feel his presence in the background, especially when they're at the big climactic battle at the end with the think tank. And I'm so glad they landed him for that role. I think he's awesome.
That's great. Bill, we got to keep this train moving. What do you got next in the next segment?
Well, as much as we love it, there are some things we don't love so much. And much like a faulty firearm, these are our Mac 10 moments. What jammed up you about this movie? So I'm going to start this off with one of mine. And I don't care for the ending as much. I love this movie, but I'm okay with a hopeful ending. But the way this movie ends seems kind of naive and a little bit regressive. Like, everything's sort of worked out in the short term with all the short-term problems, but why did they throw away all their guns? Why do they go back to hang out in the city, which is clearly going to be a huge problem as the infrastructure falls apart? There are still people out there. Granted, we didn't see them, which at first felt like a thing I didn't like, but now I realize it works for this movie for what it did. But you have to acknowledge that they're there. Like, there's all kinds of people. There's all kinds of danger that's going to be coming their way, and it's going to go bad fast. So, I would have been happier seeing them like, okay, let's get a nice RV that looks really cool and load the weapons up, family truckster style, and head out of town for safety or whatever. But we don't. We get them all dressed up like the Brady Bunch for a Sears family portrait playing football in the street.
Not jaywalking, that's for sure.
No, not jaywalking. So that's the only part that really kind of clangs for me.
Bill, this is one of mine how how is there still power at all of these places? Like, I don't know what's going on there. We haven't converted to solar in any sort of way, shape, or form. And B, like, yeah, they get rid of their guns by throwing them into a public trash can. Like, have they also not... You talk about infrastructure, like, there are no more like garbage men. Like, it's you're just putting guns somewhere. You're not getting rid of your guns.
Why are they on this street? Why did they come to this intersection to get their Polaroids taken? Why did they bring all their guns with them to this point? It's really, really odd.
Especially being out in the desert. Sorry, you're saying, Graham?
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, they're taking a picture of themselves in front of something, but we never see what it is.
Yeah,
I think it's just a building.
Yeah, Regina's just snapping Polaroids on the street because the kids are cute.
And also, like, save that. You might want to actually take pictures of something like important. At a certain point.
Like, the way out of the dangerous next place you're in, or something like that.
Evidence. But yeah, Bill, I'm right there with you. Graham, did you have a dislike?
One, like, I definitely agree with y'all. The ending's a little wonky or whatever, but the thing that I really just didn't really just flat out disliked was Michael Bowen dies way too early. I think he's the first kill in the movie theater, and you might probably most people would recognize him from some of the Quentin Tarantino movies like Kill Bill, who has the infamous line, "My name's Buck, I like to fuck," which is taken from Rob.
Eaten Alive?
There you go. Thank you.
Which has the line is spoken by
Robert Englund.
There's so many Freddy comebacks.
I know. There's so
movie.
many connections here.
Yes, yes.
But yeah, I would have liked to have seen him maybe live just a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah. R.I.P. R.I.P. Or I guess because we've got Adler and Bill here, we'll say RSVP for the greatest gen folks. Yeah. What about you, Adler?
I had two things that I dare say I disliked. One, we haven't talked about it, but this is a Christmas movie for some reason.
Yeah.
The same
Love
way
it.
Cobra is a Christmas movie.
Right.
Yep. And Lethal Weapon.
Which, it, like, kind of what we were talking about earlier, like, this movie balances so many different things, and Christmas is one of them. Like, it doesn't need it. Doesn't ruin it for me, but, like, I think the movie came out in November, and they were trying to capitalize on that. But yeah, it just doesn't need the Christmas of it all. And then the other thing too is, a little light on the zombies. Could have used more zombies. I think we have like a strong promise of zombie up front with that the early killing in the theater. And there's like some zombie aspects a little bit later on, but it's never quite. I feel like it overpromises a little bit on the zombie front.
A little too much zombie accoutrement, and I want some zombie main course.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oui. Bill, we're getting there though. You got another dislike?
Yeah, I'm feeling what you're saying because, it's all circling back around. The Freddy influence is a little lost on me. I don't like the double dream sequence that Samantha goes through.
Also very Freddy, though.
It's very Freddy, and I see that now looking on it. It's really so much of that is in there now that I'm not going to be able to unsee it. But this deal is kind of, for me, an overplayed trope in a lot of things, especially horror movies. Like, it's just too much. And I think this is time that could have been better spent on more of Rob Adler's zombie fights.
Yes.
Because I too think the movie is light on it. They do pretty good, but just like a lot of time is spent at the think tank with that bit, and they're sort of transitioning, but they're not there. I would have liked to see, because these zombies look great, and the thing I love about them is they look like what a body would look like when they're decaying. It's not so over the top. It's real, quote unquote, and it makes it super creepy. So I wish they'd just done more of that and skipped this whole 5 minutes of nonsense.
And there's zombies that talk too. You don't get that every day.
Yeah.
Explore that.
What were you saying, Graham?
Oh, I don't know this for a fact, but I think that they liked the makeup on the police officer so much. They were like, oh, let's get another scene in with him real quick before they take it off. And that's why we have this dream within a dream thing.
I think you're
Could
right.
be.
I could see that.
I mean, it's not a bad sequence. I just don't really need it in this movie. Now, if they'd gotten Eric Estrada and Larry Wilcox to do these parts,
well,
I would
a different
completely
story.
reverse my decision. That's exactly right.
and then getting Robert Beltran to become a cop and ride around as just the things that could have
On
happened.
Street Hawk.
Yes.
Yep.
Man. Well, Bill, yeah, the double dream sequence was mine too, because it's like just time that could have been used in a scene that wasn't a dream. Like, quite frankly. But
Absolutely.
where do we head from here?
Well, we're going to get to the segment, which is just a dream every time we do it. It's things we find in music. And I'm going to say this is the moments where we pass the Santa gas and laugh our butts off at the things we saw in this movie. So we're going to talk about a couple of those moments. And let's see. I think I'm going to go first on this one myself because it's the last segment on that one. Towards the end of the movie, there's the big scene. Hector and the girls are running away with the kids from the think tank. Hector stops the car, turns around to give his witty repartee to Joffrey Lewis, and he goes to throw them the bird. And Beltran looks down at his hand and watches it form the bird. Like he's never done it before.
He's figuring
or he's
it
not
out.
sure that
Yeah.
he's not sure this is what it looks like. And it's just, he looks at it, kind of gives it the nod, like acceptable, and then throws it in the air. And it makes me laugh. I've laughed since the first time I saw this movie when I saw him do it. And it still gets me every time. I just want to know, dude, why did you look at your hand that way?
Yeah.
It's so great.
Very, very interesting. And it's these little things. I'm going to request to go last because I've only got one here, gentlemen. So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Well, then let's go to Graham. How about you?
We kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, but sort of that common trait of 80s, 90s heroes is that they have this natural ability for video games or arcade games, like in Tron. The Last Starfighter, which came out the same year, which also stars Catherine Mary Stewart, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I want to get on my DaVinci editing system and almost like the two characters from each movie are playing each other.
Ooh.
I'll see if I can come up with something like that.
That would be awesome.
This whole time, that's what I was thinking. But not only is she great at video games, but she has like an encyclopedic knowledge of comic books, just sort of this like great geek knowledge, knowing that Superman can't see through lead. It's sort of other examples around that time were the Frog Brothers from Lost Boys or Billy Peltzer from Gremlins.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I love that Reggie calls Larry a nerd when he gets the Superman fact wrong. Where it's like, you've even subverted the nerd rule while you're making it with your boyfriend up in the projector booth. She's just the best.
It's
Yeah.
just delightful.
Very delightful.
Well, in that case, how about you, Rob Adler? What did you
there-
like?
Two little moments. One, Robert Beltran's character has some good costume bits.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Where he's the first one, he's driving back from San Diego, and it's like these beautiful shots of like a vintage, I think it's like a Cadillac convertible. And then all of a sudden it pans up to him and he's in a full Santa costume with a beard, implying he's driven all the way from San Diego to LA in this, like he didn't put the beard on when he arrived. He's just wearing the hat, whole thing the entire time, which is pretty funny. And then at the end, he finds the time to get a cowboy outfit together and throws that on before he returns to rescue them at the think tank. So yeah, good. His character committed to some bits, which I appreciated.
You gotta love that.
Yeah.
He does some amazing work because how he kept that Santa beard bristly white and all that red dust. Hector's got mad skills when it comes to dressing
We'll
up.
never know. We'll never know.
Unlike Fiona Apple's dad, who had a dirty Santa suit.
Oof.
Right, Graham?
Just as long as it's not.
Yes. From one of the greatest movies of all time.
Christmas Evil. Okay, Graham, you got another? Well, Bill, you should give yours.
I'm going to throw mine back around. So early in the movie, when Regina comes home, she goes home to see what's going on. She's looking for Samantha. She runs in the house. She goes up the stairs. She finds Sam upstairs in the room. They come downstairs. Sam looks down. There's a pile of dust on the floor with the dog's collar in it. And she goes, Muffy? So that pile of dust was not there when Reggie went up the stairs.
Oh.
So that means that zombie Muffy came in at that exact moment and did a Looney Tunes poof before the girls came downstairs. And I am so upset that we got cheated of zombie Muffy.
Yeah.
No dogs, no animals that are in this movie. You don't see what happens to them. So, zombie pets to go along with all this.
Cool.
Come on, man. You got to work that into the sequel.
I would love that, and it could be like The Stand, where maybe birds aren't even affected by the comet or something.
Yeah, birds. I don't trust birds.
Well, who does?
They fly and they poop. That's just too much warfare.
Yeah, that's true. Graham, what's your other amusing moment?
Oh, just the comic book knowledge of the main character.
Oh, yeah,
and sort of
I gotcha,
having
I
that
gotcha.
geek sort, and it's basically the writer writing him or herself into the main character.
Very
Like,
true. Very true.
So
What about you, Rob Adler?
I'm gonna pull an audible on mine,
Ooh.
and I love how this movie turns into kind of a spiritual sequel in the end to Beneath the Planet of the Apes. We've got an underground,
Wow.
secret underground society that turns out to be, not so kind to our main characters, and it's it was a fun parallel. Whereas this movie starts off very much as one thing, much like Beneath the Planet of the Apes, and ends up in a very different place.
Yep.
I could see that they are related because in the apes, they have the one bomb out in the open that for some reason everybody can touch. And this underground base is apparently wide open and lit by one switch that anybody can pull.
Yeah. It is wild, and they just put tape over their their corded phones to make them look cordless, as we learned from Planet of the Apes as well, or Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. Guys, you have all said things that I did also find amusing in this movie, and I was the last person to enter my notes, so far be it from me from usurping any of these amusing moments. But one thing that wasn't written down that I found amusing was that, like, these scientists didn't have a name. It was just like the base, right? Like just the underground bunker.
They don't really remember mentioning a name. All they have is that symbol on the side of the helicopter that looks like that game, that cheap game you got as a kid with a little with one steel pellet in it, and you spun it to get it around.
Think Tank, wasn't it?
Well, Think Tank.
They just call them the Think Tank.
That's right. But like, I totally feel like Lost, the TV show, ripped off the Think Tank for the Dharma Initiative, because like that symbol looks like the symbol they found. They're underground. It is like they're kind of wearing matching uniforms. It is. That's all I could think about when I saw this.
Were there any lady scientists in this movie that wore leg warmers over their overalls, Mary Warren style?
Maybe not in Lost. But
That's the only thing I look at. They worked in. I'm like, she's wearing leg warmers, man.
sign of the times, man.
One.
Sign of the times.
Yep,
But
that's true. You can't let a comet stop fashion.
that is so true.
The end of the world's not going to stop fashion.
Comet's also not going to stop how we rate this movie, Bill. And how do we do that?
You bet. This is the best. We call this section 5 Nights for $1. If you went back in your video store back in the day, there might be a rack up by the front. Might say something like 5 Nights for $1. Go pick one of those movies for $1. You can keep that movie one night up to 5 nights. Up to you. All up to you. And that's what we're going to do right here. We don't compare our movies to anything else. No sequels, no other movies, nothing in this series. Just you've gone in, you've thrown your buck down on the counter. They've rung it up analog style. They've handed you your well-worn, dirty plastic clamshell with Night of the Comet inside. How many of those 5 nights are all of us going to keep this movie? I think let's start off with special guest Rob Adler.
Well, I gave this a lot of thought, guys. I'm still thinking about it. I'm gonna go 3 nights.
Nice.
I think 3 nights and watch it attentively 2 nights. Third night, maybe just kind of have it on, just to bask in the warm red glow of it. But yeah, love the movie, love seeing it again, and I'll definitely return to it in the future. So
That's
three nights.
wonderful. That is wonderful. Graham, how many nights are you keeping this puppy?
3.5. I really enjoyed myself.
Okay.
And I'm going to return the video cassette and pick up Chopping Mall and Eating Raoul, which both have Mary Warnoff.
That is maybe the best use of your money and your rental time.
Yeah.
I like that.
And you get some Kelly Maroney in Chopping Mall.
Oh,
there.
yeah. I totally forgot.
Graham.
She's in that as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she sure is.
Oh, see,
See,
Bill, you've done it again. I should probably give mine. We got to close on you. This is your series. I will. I'm coming in a little bit lower. I think I'm keeping this for 2 nights. It's not that I didn't like it. I just don't think I have the drive to watch it multiple times on one rental. Do I have the drive to watch this, to rent it more than one time? Yes. But I'll probably watch this one night, have it on the second night, and then return it and do like a zombie series. Like, see what zombie movies I can get for $1 and do that. Because I think that's where it's like directing me towards. So I'm going to do 2 nights.
well, I'm not even going to be able to hide mine on this one. I set this up as a slam dunk for myself because I was there from the beginning on this one, and I have a pretty massive Catherine Mary Stewart crush, always have and always will. So that plays into it. I'm just going to say it. It's 5. This is a perfect 5 for me because not only would I have kept it, I did keep it. I hit this movie up every single time I had access to it. It's just that rewatchable. It's so much fun. It's so great. And the amazing thing is, I'd like to put this lesson out to Hollywood of the present. I've never looked at this as like, I can't believe these 2 chicks are the stars of this movie. It's a great movie. These characters are amazing. And the story that they write is perfect for how these 2 young women would react based on how this movie made them into that. And plus, all the other characters are great. They've got style. They've got substance. It's just a fun thing to watch. Is it a perfect movie? No. It's a $700,000 what some people would call a B movie or a cult movie. I won't. At best, I'd call this an ultra B movie because it knows what it is. And it's not just a cult classic. It's a classic. People everywhere love it. So I couldn't let it go because I never have let it go. So I'm so happy that we got to watch it. I'm so happy you all got to join in on it. I'm so happy I got to throw Rob Schulte a 1984 fastball right down the pike. It's just great.
Well, thanks again, Bill. I think as we close out, we should let everyone know we'll be back with more Pumpkin Spice episodes coming soon while we're working through our next series, which will be out in tentatively end of March, beginning of April. Keep your dial locked, especially if you haven't joined the Patreon yet. There's plenty of stuff. This episode's going out to the public. There's plenty of stuff in the back catalog you don't want to miss. We help fund our love of movies and fund Rob Adler in as little editing money as we can give him. Not as little as we can give him. We don't make a lot, so the more you give, the more we can help pay.
This is why Rob's pitches Cool Whip the movie. He doesn't do the financing
Exactly.
for
I'm
Cool
just
Whip
going to
the
edit
movie.
all this out, so don't even worry.
Oh, okay. Great.
Perfect.
But what I will say is, if you liked what we did here, you're going to love my choice for the next series. It's been a minute since we've done a franchise, and we're going to watch the RoboCop movies, as well as a pilot to a RoboCop TV show, as well as play some RoboCop Rogue City. So I think if that doesn't entice you, I don't know what the hell will. So get on over to patreon.com/BillAndRobs or just BillAndRobs.com. You're going to get all the Pumpkin Spice podcast episodes that are new. You're going to get everything we've done on Bill and Robs. You don't want to miss it. Graham, glad you could make it back for this
Thanks
one.
for
That's
having
great.
me.
Graham is my co-host. I'm his co-host on Pumpkin Spice Podcast. Rob Adler, great to have you on, Mike, for this.
Great to be
What a
here.
wonderful time. Rob, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Oh, sure. First, join the Bill and Rob's Patreon.
Thank you.
I have a hyper-regional podcast called Understanding Upstate. It's about upstate New York. You don't have to live there, and you don't have to have visited it to enjoy the podcast. We kind of just use upstate New York as a lens to look at many different things, whether that be Thousand Island dressing, Rick James, Buffalo Bills. We talk about it all. And if you're a fan of podcasts, we change the format. Like it might be a food review podcast. It might be a sports podcast. It's a great time. Check that out at Understanding Upstate on Instagram. You know where to find podcasts. You can find it wherever you catch your podcasts. I have an album out. It's called New York Sticky. You can find that at brooklynfrequency.bandcamp.com. That's all the plugs I got.
Graham, we don't really ask you much, but do you have any plugs? Do you want to plug your movie night or anything?
I
know you host some things.
Yeah, I mean, like we're wrapping up War and Peace, so I don't know if that really goes with the fan base,
or it'll be done by the time we put this episode out. I guess. Is
it War and Peace and Zombies?
It's War and Peace.
One of those movies.
1966, a movie that had 30,000 extras recreating the Napoleonic Wars. Which sort of ruined me for digital armies and movies. But it is the biggest film I've ever seen in my life, and it is so good. 1966. It took, I think, 7 years to make.
A plug for 1966's War and Peace. I love it.
You won't be disappointed.
You don't get it anywhere else, everybody.
That's the truth. Well, everyone, this has been great. We'll see you next time on Bill and Rob's An Excellent Adventure. Goodbye.